Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Avery. So it's crazy because I came to Korea on February 24th, 2020. Yeah, just one day I just got up. I bought a one-way ticket to Korea, Seoul, Korea, Incheon airport, and I just never looked back. The rest was history. So I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I'm a filmmaker, writer, producer, director from New York City, born and raised Brooklyn. Had an interest in Korean culture, like dramas and like K-pop, R&B, hip-hop, and like the movies, like directors Park Chan-wook, like Bong Joon-ho. So I was interested in like the culture from back in probably like 2010, 2011, like before Korea was actually like popping the way it is now, like with BTS and Blackpink and all that stuff. I was like more like the old generation, like Big Bang, you feel me, like 21, Sistar, like Wonder Girls, you feel me, like JYP. And so coming from that, and then like watching like dramas like, you know, 괜찮아 사랑이야, like Iris, like Boys Over Flowers, Secret Garden, like Kochimochi High Kick, you feel me? So where I came from that era, and then like I just had a desire to come to Korea and like shoot like dramas and movies, like direct and produce. It was in 2020 where I was just kind of like wanted a change in my life. Like I said, I just bought a one-way ticket and just came out here, and then bam, like the rest was history. I'm here now. It's been 4 years. Like today is, if you look at the date on my phone, Saturday, February 24th, 2024. So it's been exactly 4 years since I came to Korea. So happy 4-year anniversary to me. And I thought what better way to celebrate than to come to my job. I'm the creative director at this art gallery here in Seoul, and I decided to just pull up and then like just make sure like a little YouTube video and tell people like what I've learned in the 4 years of living in Korea. All right, so bet. 4 years of living in Korea. So this is not gonna be in any specific order, but I'm gonna just run through like a couple things, like the top things that I've learned. So for like anybody who's like me, from America, from New York, if you're from LA, if you're from you know, Texas, if you're from wherever it is that you're from, Florida. If you wanna come to Korea, you wanna live here, you wanna work here, you wanna go to school here, but more for the people who wanna work here in a professional field, these would be the top things that I would tell you that you need to know if you want to live in Korea and work here on a professional level. So without further ado, I'll get right into it. All right, cool. So the first thing is, I would say you need to get good at Korean. Right now, the way I look at myself, 저 같은 경우는 완벽하게 하지는 않은데 제가 이 정도만 할 수 있어요. 그래서 일단은 만약에 한국에 살고 싶으면은 한국말 좀 배워야 돼요. 그래서 한국 뭐 그 어학당이나 뭐 그런 거 가서 거기서 어느 정도 한국말 배우고, 그 다음에 I think like you just need to learn Korean to at least like an intermediate level. You need to be able to speak in the 회사에서 말해야 돼요. 그 팀이랑 같이. So for me, I have a very small team that I work with. I mean, the first job that I worked at, we had like a bigger team, but not everybody in your team is gonna know how to speak Korean, know how to speak English. So you need to be able to be somewhat proficient at the language. I'm not saying you need to be fluent, because that will take a lot of time to be able to speak Korean at a native fluent level. But I wanna say you wanna be at least past the level of conversational to an intermediate level to be able to speak certain business terms, right? To be able to like answer emails, to be able to answer Kakao Talk messages. So I would say learn Korean, learn Korean, learn Korean. For me, 저 같은 경우에는 제가 뉴욕에 있을 때 제가 수업을 들었어요. 그래서 그 대학교에서 뭐 Korean 101, 102, 103도 다 들어갔고, 그리고 I also took some private lessons in Korean. So I had like one-on-one lessons with a tutor, and I did that like a couple days a week for like a few months, right? So I would say altogether, I studied Korean probably in New York for like 2 years. School, I did like 3 semesters, and then the private tutoring, I did like a couple months. So altogether, that was probably about 2 years. I also worked for a Korean company as a photographer and doing some e-commerce. That was for like a year as well. So roughly two to 3 years in New York of just, it wasn't just like intensive Korean study, but it was just like a little bit of tutoring, a little bit of school, a little bit of working for a company. So get good at Korean. That's gonna help you with so many things. That's gonna help you with your private life, making friends, making a girlfriend, making a boyfriend, just at work. It's just helpful in so many different regards. If you gotta take a cab, you need to be able to tell them where you need to go, you know, without having to just pull out Papa Go for everything, right? Ordering at restaurants, right? Just handling procedures when you go to the immigration office. If you can 어느 정도 한국말 할 수 있으면 완전 더 쉬워요. 그냥 살는 거. You know what I mean? It's gonna make living in the country just easier overall. Learn Korean, learn some Korean, learn a lot of Korean. The more the better. Next thing I would say for you guys who want to come here, learn some Korean history, okay? For me, yeah, 역사 좀 배웠으면 좋겠어요. 왜냐면 if you learn some Korean history, it'll help you to understand the way Korean people think more. I feel like you'll have an understanding, one, for the way that they think, why they act the way they do, why they might respond to certain situations a certain way. The history of a country has a lot to do, it's directly relates to the people and the way they think, the way they act, the culture. So I would say learn some Korean history. Like read about how they were taken over by the Japanese for quite a long period of time. Learn about the Vietnamese War, the Korean War, how that affected the country. I would say, yeah, the Japanese part is like a really big thing, how they were, for a while, they were under Japanese control. And then also learn about how Korea has become such a developed country in such a short amount of time. Back in the 1950s, Korea was a country that was for the most part extremely impoverished, but I mean, fast forward 50 years from that, look at Korea now. So I would say understanding that will help you to understand a lot of the country, which will help you to feel more of a close bond with the people who live here. So Korean history would be the next thing that I would say is extremely important. That I learned from being here, I learned that this is really important to understand a bit of Korean history. The next thing I would say is try to understand the culture. This kind of goes hand in hand with understanding the history, but there are just little kind of unspoken cultural things that you just need to understand. If you come from a culture that is not similar to Korea, it might be just like a polar opposite. You might be so confused as to, well, why do they do certain things like this? So there are just little things like even 눈치파. Nunchi means like just having a sense to understand. Like there are little unspoken things that you might not really catch, but if you understand what nunchi is in Korean culture, it is just something that without it being spoken, it's just something that you're able to catch. And so sometimes like you'll be in a company or like just in an environment with other Koreans and you need to like have nunchi to understand the atmosphere, if that makes any sense. A big part of Korean culture is the hierarchy. So there's like a whole hierarchy system where it's like, I'm older than you, 누나, 형, 언니. Like you need to understand the hierarchy of like somebody being older than you, or even within the company. There's like levels to like everything, you know, 회장님, 이사님, 본부장님, you know, 대표님, 팀장님, 대리님. Like there are so many hierarchical, there's such a hierarchical culture that I feel like is a huge deal in Korean society. While I'm not saying that you necessarily have to or should assimilate to that aspect of the culture, I do think it's extremely important to at least understand that this exists. Tying into that, there are like greetings, right? So even just something as simple as when you walk into like a convenience store, when you walk into a corner store or 편의점, when you go in, you know, you're greeted and the person, it says like, you know, 어서 오세요. Like this is something that does not exist in New York. Like you walk into like a convenience store, like no one is necessarily gonna greet you unless you're like already like familiar with them. So you walk into a 편의점, like you're gonna be greeted, like they're gonna be like, oh, 어서 오세요, which is like welcome. And then, I mean, it's even in Olive Young or like other places like Starbucks, it's even worse because it's just like, they're like a whole full-on greeting, like, you know, 어서 오세요, 뭐 안녕하세요, 뭐 Starbucks 리저브입니다. Like it's a whole thing. Just get used to like the different greetings. Like you go in, when you go to pay, they will thank you like when you're done paying, like 감사합니다, 뭐 들어가세요, and then you're supposed to say 감사합니다, 안녕히 계세요. Like you say thank you, please stay well, and they say thank you, please go well. If you don't like respond to these little greetings, it's gonna be a little bit awkward. So it would be good for you to know how to respond to these greetings. Even when you first come into like for me, when I come into my company in the morning and other people are there, you know, you're supposed to greet and 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요. Like and like even especially when you're leaving as well, or even like when you're going away to lunch, like there are just things that everyone says. There's like a set thing that you're supposed to say for every different situation. So if someone's going out for lunch, you might say like, 식사 맛있게 하세요. 점심 맛있게 하세요. Like, have a good lunch. And then you say, 감사합니다. 식사 맛있게 하세요. Like, you also say the same thing to them. And then when you're leaving, you say like, 먼저 가보겠습니다. And you like a little bow. So it's like, I'm leaving first. Like, I'm leaving work first. And then you say, 조심히 들어가세요. Like, please go well. So there are, like I said, there are set sayings and set greetings for every different situation that you just need to know because it's the norm. And if you don't do it, then you kind of be seen as like an outcast or like you don't really understand the culture. So to better fit in, learn these little, even if you're not that great at Korean, if you can just do these little greetings that are always done in certain situations, then that will make you seem like at least you're making an effort to understand the culture. You know what I mean? My next thing is be nice, be likable. I feel like this is just kind of common sense, but yeah, just be like a likable person. And that doesn't necessarily mean being fake, but for some people that might mean that. But for me, it just means like just being my genuine self, but still making an effort to be nice. Right? To be, and not like overly nice, but just to not like be a douchebag. You know what I mean? Yeah, just be friendly and just try to treat everyone the way you would want to be treated, you know, with love and with respect. May seem like an obvious one, but that's definitely one that I feel like goes a long way. Little niceness goes a long way. You know what I mean? My next one is be very good at something, anything. Have a strong skill that will get you far anywhere. But we're in Korea, so let's talk about Korea. In Korea, have a strong skill set. Something that people can know that you are good at this thing and that they could want to hire you for this thing that you are good at. In my case, it's filmmaking, video production, writing, producing, directing, shooting, editing. Those are all things that I have under my belt. I would say, but you need to be like quite good at it because it's like anytime you're living in a foreign country, it's like they could obviously just hire somebody who is from that country, right? So I feel like in that regard, you need to be even better than somebody else who's from there, right? If you want to make it in New York, like you got to be super good at whatever it is that you're trying to bring to the table. So I would say definitely learn a skill and try to perfect that skill as much as you can. Whatever it is that you're good at, it can be video production, it could be photography, it could be, modeling, just languages, just conversation, people skills, coding, drop shipping, just whatever it is that you're good at, learn that skill and be extremely, extremely good at it. That is gonna get you far in anything in life. And to piggyback off of that, have a lot of experience. So for me, back in New York, I have experience shooting a feature film that went on to sell to Xfinity. I've done a lot of commercial films. I've done some short film work. So I have the experience to bring to the table to say like, hey, you can check my resume, you can check my portfolio. I've done this, and that. So I would say not only be very good at something, but also be able to show what you've done, like have a website, have a portfolio, have a reel to say like, hey, I'm good at this and you can check my credentials, right? So that's gonna come a long way, especially when it comes to getting a visa, right? They wanna see what have you done. They wanna see it like physically, like on paper or your website, like I said, your reel, et cetera, et cetera. And to go off of that last one, let's say you do not have a bunch of experience on a portfolio to show that all that you have done or are able to do, have a college degree. So if you don't have the experience, you need the degree. Or if you don't have the degree, you need the experience. So Korea is a society that very heavily focuses on education and degrees. So let's say you have a 4-year bachelor's degree. That is going to be great. If you have a 4-year and a 2-year, a master's, even better. If you have a PhD, way better. So like for the people who are looking to come here and maybe not necessarily not teach English, maybe you're looking to actually get into a certain field, a certain profession, the music industry, the entertainment industry, whatever industry it is that you're looking to get into, you want to have a degree in that field that will really, really help you a lot. I have a friend who's currently working in international business, and she has her master's in, I believe, international business or something related to that, in some sort of business degree from France, right? So that is going to be extremely helpful if you want to come here and you want to work professionally. Like, I mean, you can come here and go to school here. That's going to be great, but it's also great if you already went to school back in your home country and you have that degree, and then you come here. This friend doesn't really speak Korean at all, but she has like a master's degree, and then she can speak French, she can speak Italian, she can speak Spanish, and she can speak English. So she comes with all those languages, she comes with the degree, and so it was a lot easier for her to get a job. So college degree, and the higher the level, the better it is going to be for you, the easier it is going to be for you to get into that profession that you're looking to get into. Learn to like Korean food. If you don't already like Korean food, I would say learn at least to like some Korean foods. Why? Well, you're living in Korea, and while there are a plethora of other types of foods from other countries, I think it's extremely helpful to like Korean food, because there are gonna be situations where you go out, it could be business meetings, it could just be hangouts with friends, whatever have you. A lot of the times, maybe 9 times out of 10, if you're with Koreans, they're gonna wanna eat Korean food. If you're with like Koreans and not like Korean Americans or Gopos. So you better learn to like Korean food. Me personally, I like certain Korean foods. I like solleungtang, I like haeulpajeon, you know what I mean? I like 제육볶음밥, you feel me? I like the Korean chicken. I like sokogi, what is it called? Sokogi pap? I forgot exactly what the name of it is, but it's something that you don't necessarily find in like restaurants. But anyway, you know, galbi is great, hanwoo, samgyeopsal. Learn to like Korean food, because Koreans really like it when you like their food. So it's like, oh my goodness, you like, you know, kimchi jjigae, you like bibimbap, like you like tteokbokki. Wow, that's amazing. Let's go eat together. So food is a big part of Korean culture. The more you know about the food, the more you like the food, the easier it is going to be able to build that rapport, and they can feel comfortable around you and feel like, hey, this is somebody who gets us. Food, I think in a lot of different cultures, the way to people's heart is through food, right? And in Korea is no different. Yeah, familiarize yourself with Korean food, learn to love it, come here, make some friends, go eat together. Food is a love language for a lot of people. So my next one is find a way to reduce stress. Korea could be a very fast-paced, stressful society. So I think it'll be very beneficial if you can find a way to reduce stress. And that could be through exercise, rock climbing, going to hit the gym, going jogging, Pilates, right? There are many different ways that you can reduce stress. And I think that if you have a very busy schedule, as I do, you need to find time to release stress. Hit the gym, join a dance class, whatever it is that you have to do, you want to have that place where you can go and just 스트레스를 다 불러서, right? You got to get rid of that stress. So that would be a major bonus, major plus. Find somewhere or someone that you can call home. This is a big one. I remember when I first came to Korea, the first 2 months for me were extremely hard, because I felt like I didn't really have anyone or anywhere to call home. And that could be a really difficult thing, being in a country, not having any family here, not really having any friends when you first come. Having a place you can call home is a big deal. And home doesn't need to be like a physical building. Like you come home to your apartment, that's your home. But what I mean is like a person or a place or a group, a society, a community where you feel like this is where you can go and feel safe, like this is your safe place. So for me, I would say for like the first 2 years of being in Korea, like the first year and a half, my safe place was like my ex-girlfriend. So it was like, that's where I felt like I could, you know, the person I could like tell everything to, the person I could go to and talk to, and I feel like they're not gonna judge me, or I can just feel safe. Like my ex-girlfriend, like that was my safe place, you know what I mean? So I feel like, and for me right now, one of my safe places is like my community at my church. When I'm at my church, I got my friends there. They're more than friends, they're like family to me. So when I'm there, I can like open up to them and I can share things with them. You feel me? Like we pray for each other, they pray for me. That is definitely a place for me where I feel like it is my home away from home. So 빨리. Hurry. Korea has a culture of getting things done quickly. Everything needs to be done quickly. it's just, I mean, I don't know if I want to call it impatience. That might be a part of it, but I think it's influenced from how Korea has very quickly industrialized as a society, as a country, as a nation. So because they so quickly went from being very poor to being very rich, I feel as though that is ingrained in the minds of Koreans, where like things need to be done quickly. You'll find that like when you order at a restaurant, the food comes out right away. Or just everything is fast, like ordering coffee, the buses, like you get on the bus, before you even get a chance to sit down, the bus is already taken off. And if you don't like hold on, you're gonna fall. Like for anyone who's ridden the bus in Seoul, you know what I'm talking about. Or even outside of Seoul, I heard that Busan is worse. Just to even, you know, if you're in the company, like you might get told something like last minute, like a work that needs to get done, and they'll expect it to be done like that same day. Like it might be a work that might take a couple days, even a week to get done, but like they'll be like, can you get it done by tomorrow? So it's like the pali culture is a real thing. And I think for those who are not from Korea, where things are done at a more reasonable pace, you'll notice that like there's definitely a culture here of like getting things done super fast, like working late, like overtime to get things done is definitely a big part of the culture. And personally, I feel as though overall the culture, the society, the culture could kind of take a chill pill and slow things down. I don't see the need for why everything needs to be in such a rush and such a hurry. Some things take time, you know? Some of my favorite foods take time to make. Tonkotsu ramen. This is a type of food that you cook the broth for like 12 to 16, 24 hours. Brisket is low and slow. You're cooking it at a low temperature for a long time to get the meat to be really succulent and to get all those flavors in there. So some art, movies, these things take time, right? And so I feel like not everything needs to be done quickly. Yes, sometimes it's crunch time, you gotta work, you might have to down some caffeine or whatever, get it done, but not everything needs to, like, why are we in such a rush, right? What are we rushing towards as a society, right? Good things take time, and I feel like overall Korea could definitely learn to slow things down a little bit. I think it would be really helpful for the mental health of the country. To go off that last one, Koreans are extremely hard working. 한국 사람들은 완전 부지런한 사람들이에요. 한국 사람들은 진짜 열심히 일하고 좀 빨리빨리도 하고. What I'm saying here is Korean people are extremely hard working, and so I've learned that in being here. That's why when Koreans go abroad, go to America or go to other countries, they excel so well because they are so hard working, and there's such an emphasis on working hard and getting things done quickly and getting things done. I want to say getting things done well, but I think it's more about getting it done quickly than getting it done well, if I'm being transparent. You'll notice though that there's a lot of wanting to look like you're working very hard. That's a big part of the society here. So I think that you'll come to realize that, but I'm letting you know now. Korea is a very rule-based society, and I do think that rules are good, but I think it's good when there's like a little bit of leeway with certain things. But here, it's just like, it's a hard yes and a hard no. So it's like, if there's something where you might think that there could be some wiggle room for this, in Korea, there's no wiggle room. A lot of the times you might like ask if something can be done, like even if it's just like changing an ingredient or taking out an ingredient. You know, in America, we always want things our way. It's like, oh, like, can you not put, I don't know, gluten or, not put mayonnaise on this. But in Korea, it's like, no, you'll see this a lot. And it's like, you might ask for like a little change on something. It's like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you charge my phone? Little things, but it's just like, no, like there's a rule and we're not breaking it because we don't break the rules. So you'll notice that like, there's no real wiggle room where you might think that, oh, it's not a big deal, like to do this. But in here, it's just like, no, like, because it's just, that's the way the society is here. It's like there's things you can do and there's things you can't do. And the things you can't do, that's it. It's just like, it's a hard no. So you'll notice that here, like the rules just don't get broken. Have a strong network. Oh man, this is important. Anywhere that you go, but especially in Korea, in a country that is not your country, having a strong network is really, really important. A lot of times your network is your net worth. So the people that you know, the connections that you have will allow you to accelerate, will allow you to get into certain doors, certain opportunities will open for you based on who you know. So having a strong network where you've built up that network for yourself is going to be really, really, really important. And I've been here for 4 years and I feel like I've built a network to a good extent. So if you come out here, the industry that you're in, network, meet the right people, and that's definitely going to open a lot of doors for you. Don't be afraid to seek mental help. In America, mental health is something that is very open and spoken about. People are constantly encouraging you to reach out, to call some number, or to go to like speak to with a professional, a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, etc. Here, mental health is a bit more taboo, but I would say that there was a time back in 2020 was really taxing on my mental health because it was my first time being in a new country. I came to Korea for the first time. It was the middle of a it was really stressful for me. And so during that time, for a couple of months, I did seek a professional, a therapist, and I just like met them like once a week. Was it once a week or twice a week? I don't remember. But I met them and we spoke, and it was very, very helpful for me. It really helped a lot for me during that time. I was able to just speak to them about, my personal life. That was something that definitely helped me get through the situation that we were going through in 2020, 2021. So I would say, if you come out here and you're struggling to assimilate to the culture, or you just feel not understood, or you're just not mentally just not feeling good, anxiety, panic attacks, whatever it is, I would definitely say seek mental help. That's going to be really beneficial for you. Health. You need to prioritize your health. I feel like this is not specific to Korea. This is just in general. Your health is your wealth. In order for you to function at a high level, you need to be healthy, especially physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. But specifically right now, I'm talking about physically. Like, you want to be healthy, and so you need to prioritize your health. If that means taking vitamins, taking supplements, getting a good night's sleep, hitting the gym, eating, having a good diet, drinking a lot of water. These are all things that are going to help you just overall. Like, you're gonna have a clear mind, you're gonna have a healthy body, and that's gonna be able to help you to work hard. That's gonna be able to help you to just function at a higher level, which is just going to help you in every aspect of your life. And this is my final thing is don't lose what makes you you. I feel like a lot of people, when they come to Korea, yes, you want to assimilate to the culture. Yes, you want to understand them. Yes, you want to be able to fit in to an extent, but I feel like do not lose what makes you you. Don't lose your culture. Don't try to fit in so much that you're no longer yourself. You're just like a shell of yourself. I feel like you still want to keep your culture from wherever it is that you're from. That is something that is unique to you. That makes you unique here. That makes you unique wherever you go in the world. And so I don't think that you should try to hide your culture or hide that which makes you you. That could be your personality. Everyone's unique, and I feel like we all have something unique to bring to the table. And I feel like you should keep that. For me, I'm very much a New Yorker. I'm very much American. And you might be able to tell that in, if you know me personally, you know that I speak my mind. You know that I'm not afraid to say exactly what I mean. Korea is more of a culture where you try to not be confrontational, which can be a good thing, but it can also come off as being very fake. So for me, to not be fake, I'm very genuine, and some people might say, man, you're a bit confrontational, but I think it's not even that. I just think that being from New York, we're used to saying how we feel, and not so much like we wear our hearts on our sleeves, right? We're very just genuine people. So I feel like that has got me in trouble a bit, and I'm learning to kind of tone it down a bit. But at the same time, like, I would never want to lose that aspect of my identity, that aspect of my culture, because that is what makes me me. That is what makes me unique, and that is something that, the world is a melting pot of different cultures and different personalities. And so, be yourself as much as you can without being overly confrontational, I would say. You got to find the balance, and that's for you to figure out. Yeah. All right, so those were all some of my, not all, but just a few things that I think that I've learned or that I would like to share with you guys based on my experience living here for 4 years. Korea is a great country. It is what you make of it. And I feel like that's that's with anywhere that you go. You're gonna have, what you put out is what you get in. So take that however you wanna take it. But Korea is a cool place. I've been here for 4 years and I'm looking to continue to travel and explore different parts of Asia and just different parts of the world. Shout outs to Korea, 4 years being here. I'll be making more content, so make sure you guys subscribe, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and just look out for more content and more exciting videos, travel videos, life in Korea, etc., etc. All right, I'm out. Peace.